Welcome back to our podcast. We are the writers from Gaming Today. This is Ramon Scott, and I'm Nick Pellegrino, and we're here to review some of the games on a big 12-game schedule on the NHL for Thursday, October 11th. Moni, some of the games don't have lines, but we do have some opinions on games with lines. So let's start with game number 2. The Columbus Blue Jackets are with the Florida Panthers. What's the line?
Yeah, here you got Florida minus $1.35. The total 5.5 over 25, and I think Columbus is doing a nice job so far. I think we all can agree to that. Some good defense, and I also note that these teams 14-5-1 the last 20 meetings. I'm kind of leaning toward the under in this one. I'm giving it out as an under in Columbus, Florida. What do you like?
I'm giving out the Columbus Blue Jackets. People talk in the NFL about the Chargers not having a home field advantage. Florida has no home ice advantage. Nobody goes. Half the crowd's for the visiting team. They're doing their vacation down south. There's no emotion there. There's no feeling there. There's no power there. There's nothing. Columbus is my pick. Go down the schedule a little bit. We have the Edmonton Oilers returning home from Europe. They're going to play at the Boston Bruins. What do you have in the game in Boston?
Yeah, Boston, $1.65 in this one. I think you might have thought that came a little high. I think maybe that's what some people think as well. But Boston definitely has looked pretty decent so far, and they've done interesting in this series. 6-1 for Edmonton, the last 7 in Boston, but Boston's been okay as well. I don't know what I'm thinking about in this one, but we're going to have something tomorrow, I think, on late telephone service.
My power index, I came out with Boston at minus 140, but a lot of people bet on Boston, and a lot of Americans don't even know where Edmonton's located, so I understand why the line is jacked to where it is. I like the over in this game. Edmonton's still tired. Boston's offense is starting to click around. I'm saying go over the 5.5 in the Boston-Edmonton game. We have 2 more games we're going to look at, maybe 3. Next one is the Chicago Blackhawks at the Minnesota Wild. What's the line here?
Yeah, Minnesota opened $1.70, but it's bet down. Some real sharp action has come in. No fewer than 3 big hits have come in on the Blackhawks. They took them all the way down to probably plus $1.40 or $1.45. They're getting the money now. Chicago looks like a pretty sharp side in this one.
If you look at the schedule, the rotation, the next game is Calgary at St. Louis. As I wrote in Gaming Today about 2 weeks ago, I'm fading both the Wild and the Blues. They entered the week tied for last place for good reason. I like the Blackhawks over Minnesota, and when a line finally comes out on Calgary at the Blues, I'm all over the Flames.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, one thing I was looking at certainly also in Chicago, Minnesota, I was looking for that game to go over 6, 6 over 10, 6 over 15 right now. I like over in that game. Calgary and St. Louis, we'll see what the line's going to come. I was estimating they might come about minus $1.40, and I was thinking 5.5 over 20. That game had no line overnight,